Oh, you're here. Welcome back to Shank's Rings. I know it's been a while, but I have a new 3D Blu-ray review for you. We have Avatar: The Way of the Water. I was totally shocked when I found that this got a 3D Blu-ray release. It seems like they're very scarce these days. I've had it sitting on my shelf for a while, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to watch it. I saw it in the movie theater 3 times, IMAX 3D, loved it, and let me tell you, if you liked it in IMAX 3D, you're gonna love it on 3D Blu-ray. Just to put it into perspective for you, as I'm sure most of you 3D Blu-ray enthusiasts know, the first Avatar movie looks phenomenal on 3D Blu-ray. If you liked that one, you're gonna like this one. So real quick, let me just get into some specifications here. So this movie's PG-13. I'd say it's kid-friendly. There is some mild language in it, and there's a couple scenes with some blood. Someone's arm comes off at the end of the movie, but it's so CGI'd it doesn't really look that real. But other than that, I'd say it's pretty kid-friendly. The film itself is about 3 hours and 12 minutes long. It's got an aspect ratio of 1:85, so if you're watching this on a 3D TV, it's going to fill up your entire screen. That gives it extra points in my eyes. Of course, for you projector people out there, I'm sure it's not that big of a deal for you. It's probably not a deciding factor. Because I know that with those projectors, even if you have black bars, you can like zoom in the picture, I guess, to fill the screen. I don't know exactly how that works. One day I'll own a projector. Until then, I'm still rocking it on my OLED. Anyway, it has a audio track of 7.1 DTS HD Master Audio. No Dolby Atmos, but at this point I really don't care, just as long as we get 3D. So what I love about this is that it's actually broken up into 2 discs for a higher bit rate. The people that don't have 3D TVs that just bought it specifically just for the Blu-ray, I feel like they're kind of getting shafted a little bit in this because the 2D release is just on 1 disc, so the bitrate's going to be a little smaller. I haven't watched the regular 2D version yet. I just don't feel like there's any reason to. I was going to pick up the 4K Steelbook, but I didn't buy that either. Like, after watching this in 3D, I just don't feel like there's any other way. So I guess let's just dive into how the 3D picture looks. I mean, obviously it's great. Brightness I give a 5 out of 5. You know, sometimes when you watch some of these 3D movies, brightness can be a factor depending on what kind of TV you're using. If you're using an active TV with shutter glasses or a passive 3D TV with the polarized lenses, I didn't have any issues with brightness at all. Even during the dark scenes, it looked fantastic. The picture quality, the clarity was great. It felt like I was watching a 4K movie. It was extra crispy. Who needs a 4K movie when you have something like this, and this immersive too? So for the clarity in picture, the vivid colors, I'd give that a 5 out of 5 too. And I'm not being overly generous either. This movie rocks. Let's talk about the depth. The depth and the pop kind of just like coincide here. There's nothing that's like protruding out of the screen really. The depth in this movie is just so good that there are things that stand out of the screen in a non-gimmicky, protruding, making your eyes go cross-eyed sort of way that just look fantastic. Like, you'll have scenes where some of the main characters will be standing out in the foreground. It'll look like they're on the outside of your TV screen while you have bushes and shrubs and other scenery that just go deeper into your screen. Like, it looks like as if it's going deep in for miles, and it's just layered and layered. Some of the scenes look almost like a pop-up book. You know, you've got Jake Sully just like standing in your living room, and that's kind of how I feel about the pop-out too. Like I said, the layers of depth are so good that it doesn't need to have that gimmicky pop-out stuff that you would see in like Guardians of the Galaxy or anything like that, because the separation of layers in the depth is just so good that things just naturally stand off of the screen. Some of my favorite moments are on the second disc when they're underwater And Jake Sully and Natiri, I think her name is, they're trapped in that ship. They're underwater. They're pretty much given up. They don't have a way out. And what their daughter somehow uses her telepathy or whatever to send these glowing yellow starfish things to light a path for them under the water. That scene is brilliant. Not only is it a dark scene that looks great with your 3D glasses on, like you don't feel your eyes hurting because the brightness is just perfect even for a dark scene, but the depth. I mean, these starfish things look like they're swirling around, and it looks like as if they're coming from your living room into the screen of the movie and stretching inward, and in the background you see their daughter, summon or commanding them with her telepathy or whatever it is. Just stuff like that. I mean, it is beautifully done. James Cameron is a freaking genius. So for the depth, I'm obviously going to give it a 5 out of 5 star rating. For the pop-out effects, I'm tempted to give it a 5 out of 5 star rating too, but maybe I'm being a little too overly generous with that as well. So let's think about that. When people talk about the pop-out effects, they want to see stuff like a spear, protruding out of the screen halfway into your living room, or an arrow from Natiri's bow protruding halfway out into your living room. Okay, so you don't really see too many things like that. There are a couple scenes like that in the movie. I remember seeing stuff like that on the first disc, but it doesn't happen too often. So if we're basing our rating off of that type of pop-out effects for 3D, I would say probably a 3 out of 5 stars. But like I said, the depth is so good with separating things from the background and the foreground and everything in the middle. It almost creates like a storybook pop-up effect in itself. So I think I would probably, in my opinion, give the pop probably a 4 out of 5 stars total, if we're taking that into account. So yeah, and this is a long movie. It's a 3-hour movie, and sometimes it's hard for me to sit through long movies like that with my glasses on. But I didn't have that problem with this. I didn't experience any type of sickness with my eyes, getting headaches or anything like that. The first time I watched it actually was on my PlayStation VR headset. I was lazy, just put on the headset, and I was thinking, I don't mind the screen door effect, whatever, I'll just watch it. And you know what? It was the best looking movie I've ever seen on my PlayStation VR headset, and I thought to myself, if it looks this damn good on my VR headset, how is it gonna look on my OLED? So I watched it again on my OLED. Freaking phenomenal. This is definitely a must-have in your collection. Now let's talk about the audio. Now, I feel like I'm a little out of date when it comes to the audio, but then again, this is like a 7.1 DTS surround soundtrack, so I'm using, it's a Pioneer Elite receiver. It's 7 channels, I believe. It's a pretty modest setup, but I thought it sounded really great. I was worried that because Fox was taken over by Disney, that the surround sound audio was going to just be kind of crappy like most of Disney's movies are. That's what the past has shown me anyways. But no, the James Cameron must have overseen this himself, because the audio sounds just as good as it did in the movie theater. It's loud, punchy bass that'll make your seats rock. The dialogue is super clear. Panning effects when Jake Sully is riding that whatever dinosaur creature that is that flies and dives under the water at the same time. When he's flying that thing around, you hear all the panning surround sound effects. I mean, it's so immersive that it really adds to the 3D quality of this movie. So overall, honestly, I want to say I give this a total rating of 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a must-have if you are a 3D enthusiast, and what's great is that it's actually sold everywhere. I picked this up at Best Buy. You could get this at Best Buy. I think I spent $35 for it. Is it worth it? Yes. Buy this. This is such a good movie to have. Maybe eventually I will go back and buy the 4K Steelbook and review that. That's up in the air. But I really do hope to plan on doing more movies, 3D versus 4K comparison videos. Sorry I've been absent for a while. I'll be working on that, but it's good to see you guys out there, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.